In one of his next entries, he celebrated Brent and Tarrant's birthday. This was the perpetrator in the Christchurch mosque shooting, which Solomon seemed to be quite a big fan of.
Happy birthday, Brenton. Happy birthday, Brenton. Tarrant. Happy birthday.
He's singing happy birthday to a shooter that would have 100% shot him in the face, by the way.
Happy birthday to you.
Like, 'cause he's black.
Happy birthday, Brenton Tarrant. Total you're deaf. Kill all Muslims.
He then proceeded to try to throw violent media under the bus, writing, "We're taught violence and extremism by video games, music, literature, or cinema. Kanye West and playing games like CSGO, Manhunt, Mega Chud have mentally prepared me for murder."
Mega chud.
Again, this one is clearly only a troll, with games
What the fuck? Wait, it's real? This is a real fucking game? Mega chud. Oh my god. Hello, YouTube. In today's video, we are taking a look at a black white supremacist. What? The Scallop. We are going to be covering the case titled The Disturbing Details of the Recent Antioch Shooter, Solomon Henderson, from the channel Dire Trip. Our goat here. We love Dire Trip here. But yeah, as you can see from the thumbnail, you see this very famous white supremacist symbol with a Wojak in it, or like a soy jack meme or something. And as you can see, the individual, the kid, is black. Yeah, somebody in chat is literally saying it. He's a walking contradiction. For real though. You know what's sad? There's actually more people like this out there, like black people that are self-hating and they think that white people are superior. I hope you guys realize that they don't like you, okay? The white supremacists that you are supporting, they're gonna eradicate you the second that you are no longer useful to them. You're being thrown under the bus. Like, why are you supporting them? It's so lame. Anyway, there's not really much more I can say besides just brace yourselves for cringe.
When people began to grow concerned over a user on X, one that openly praised other killers, bragging that one had followed him, he was reported to the FBI.
What? Holy shit, the newest school shooter followed me on my private and public Twitter, I think. He got excited that one of these other shooters that we made videos on, by the way, followed him? He was flexing that? We're not even 15 seconds into the video and the cringe is already off the charts, bro.
He was reported to the FBI. Unfortunately, nothing was done, leaving him to continue planning his own attack, one that he detailed extensively in his writings. It's no secret that previous school shooters will often inspire other students in a similar demographic to carry out similar attacks of their own. For example, ever since Columbine, many different attacks have taken place that listed those two killers as inspirations. Now it's gotten to the point where even very recent school shooters are going on to inspire other students to carry out their own attacks, sometimes only mere weeks after their own.
Yeah, this is the scary part. It's just like an endless cycle of inspiration, which is like it's obviously scary, but it's also pathetic. It just keeps going. So people are being inspired by like Columbine, Sandy Hook, and then people are being inspired by one of the recent cases that we've covered on this channel. And then it just keeps going. It's just like an endless cycle of inspiration for other sacks of shit, for other pathetic fucks.
This story is one very instance of that. Antioch High School is the name of a public high school in Antioch, Tennessee, which is a neighborhood of Nashville. It usually hosts a bit over 2,000 students from 9th to 12th grade, being one of the 19 high schools in the Nashville public school area. According to the superintendent, Adrian Battle, their public schools have a good array of different security measures, like partnerships with the police to get their hands on some school resource officers. Not only that, but they have security cameras built in with weapon detection AI, shatter-resistant film all over the glass in all of their schools, and security barriers between the outside of the school and the main entrance. In October of 2024, a 16-year-old student was arrested at the school after school resource officers and other faculty found that he had taken a gun on campus. Given that he had taken it to school the day prior, they stopped him at the door the next day upon entering the school and found that he still was carrying a loaded gun in his pants.
Oh, is this like this isn't even Solomon. This is like just like a completely different boy. Oh God.
At the time, this seemed like a really big deal, but little did the school faculty know this was merely only some foreshadowing as to the future of their school. In December of 2024, a female school shooter, Samantha Ruppnow, went on to kill a student and a substitute teacher before ending her own life. Before doing what she did, Samantha had quite an online presence within certain groups. She made her affinity for mass killers very well known, praising them endlessly.
What the fuck? What is this photoshopped ass looksmaxed AI version of Elliot Rodger? What the hell is this cringe? These people would do anything that they can to romanticize these losers.
Praising them endlessly. Samantha had developed connections with other like-minded, usually teenage users online. Shortly before her shooting, she posted a picture to social media from a bathroom stall in her school, showing an OK sign with her hand. On the post was a comment, one that seemingly knew what she was up to. It said, simply, live stream it. At the time of her death, Samantha was only following 13 other users on X. 2 of those accounts, including the one that left that comment, have been linked to one single person, that being a boy named Solomon Henderson.
All right.
Solomon Henderson was born in 2007 to a middle-class family, saying that his family were part of a group known as the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Oh man, Israel is already seen in not the best light right now. So they're called the Black Hebrew Israelites. Okay.
Saying that his family were part of a group known as the Black Hebrew Israelites. While this claim was only made by Solomon himself, and we will come to see that he isn't the most reliable narrator, it's a claim that hasn't been disputed much. The Black Hebrew Israelites are a fringe religious movement who believe that African Americans are the true descendants of the ancient Israelites in the Bible. It's a movement that has been dubbed both anti-Semitic and black supremacist by the Anti-Defamation League.
Oh, so they just think they're the real Israelites, and that Israel should be, I guess, black? Interesting. I've never heard of this group before.
Solomon, growing up, claimed that he didn't have the best home life. He said that his mother would often abuse him. In turn, he was very upset that his father didn't do much to defend him. When he confided in his father, saying that he felt that he didn't care about him, he wrote of the exchange. His excuse was, my mother, Solomon's grandmother, had baby daddies and her boyfriend used to beat me. What you've experienced is nothing compared to me. Being raised within the Black Hebrew Israelites group would prove to be massively ironic for Solomon, as he would come to associate any negativity in his life with the black community. He continued writing of his father's attitude, saying, I'm done with black people. It's fucking a cycle and fucking leaving it.
So there you go. That's where the self-hatred, that's where the internalized racism comes in now. So he had a rough childhood and he internalized that hatred that he had for his father, and it grew to not just include his father or his parents, but it included all black people. Jesus Christ.
I'm done with black people. It's fucking a cycle and fucking leaving it. Solomon has said that he had very little friends throughout his life, coming to feel that being continually rejected was easier than making friends. He began to compensate by saying that he would rather be hated anyway, writing, I haven't had any real friends since 7th grade. I don't want to be loved, I want to be hated by all. It's the only real emotion. It has been speculated that Solomon ran away from home when he was about 14 years old in 2021. This was when the police were called out to his home for the first time, according to records, with the reasoning being that someone had been reported missing. The police were called out to the home again a few more times in 2023. On one of these occasions, the police came out to the home to find that nobody was even there, so they simply left. But then again in 2023, they were called out to the home, this time over a family argument. According to Solomon, as a result of the call, the police ended up seizing 2 guns from the home. Given juvenile confidentiality, the cops haven't been able to speak out on this incident on their own. It would make sense that this wasn't due to Solomon himself, as he wasn't arrested, but due to a fight between his parents. Solomon had actually previously uploaded video in which his parents could be heard arguing loudly in the background.
Okay, well, to be fair, that is a very destabilizing environment. When I say destabilizing, it's like, if you're a kid surrounded by that all of the time, like bickering and fighting parents, yeah, it makes your mind used to a very chaotic environment, which is not good for your development. Exactly. See, somebody in chat says volatile household. And what does a volatile household lead to? A volatile brain, a volatile mindset.
Solomon, not having any friends in school, was described as being both quiet and intelligent by his classmates. One of them later said that he was at the top of the class, but very quiet the majority of the time. She said, we were in our OTC together, this year too, and he was always top of the class, always doing his work. I knew him personally. I just thought he was a sweet, quiet person. However, even at school, Solomon wasn't always so nice. In late 2024, he had actually been suspended for 2 days for bringing a box cutter to school and threatening another student with it. For that, he had gotten into some legal trouble and was all set to appear in juvenile court. However, he lucked out of this one, as the family of the student that he threatened decided not to press charges against him. This left him with nothing but the very short suspension as punishment. Over time, Solomon had become fascinated with school shooters and other mass killers, and that's putting it pretty lightly. He completely absorbed himself into the life story of these killers, coming to idolize them. He wanted to talk like them, dress like them, and act like them, and over time, he decided that he wanted to kill like they did. Solomon started a diary on October 18th of 2024, one in which he would detail the majority of these feelings. All throughout the diary, Solomon flips back and forth between being serious and being an internet troll, casting doubt on a lot of his claims.
That's a very common thing among all of these like weirdo, cringe teenager shooters, especially when they're this deep into like 4chan. They like to pretend like they're like super serious and all this shit, but then they end up reverting and they end up going mask off about their troll personality. And I think a lot of these people are just trolls pushed into extremism that exist solely to get attention from other crazy motherfuckers on the internet, other like-minded trolls. Let me know if you guys like agree. Let me know if I'm spitting. People like Solomon, people like Samantha Rupp now. Yeah, they're internet trolls that are so deep down in these internet rabbit holes like 4chan or whatever. Everything they do on these websites is for the validation of other unhinged people. And eventually they become numb to that. They need more. They need more. They need to get more reactions. They need more approval from these people that they want to impress. You know, they want to impress these other users that idolize these other killers. And eventually they end up doing the extreme. They end up committing their own atrocities once again to solidify themselves, to cement themselves as topics of discussion in these weird forums, in these weird communities online, because that's what they're doing. They spend all their time idolizing other people, talking about other past shootings, other past shooters. They want to become that. They want to be future topics of conversations in these degenerate communities because that's what they strive for. That's the thing with all of these people. Don't let them fool you into thinking that this is for some serious reason like bullying or mental health or whatever. I mean, the mental health thing could actually be a factor, but I really do think a lot of these degenerates are really just at the extreme end of attention seeking.
Throughout the diary, Solomon flips back and forth between being serious and being an internet troll, casting doubt on a lot of his claims. However, many of these claims are fairly mundane or describe feelings that he very clearly believes. For example, Solomon had a strong hatred for various minorities and religions, especially Jews and Muslims, and never wavered on that claim. More than anything, though, Solomon hated black people, describing himself as, well, an N-word cell. That being a combination of the N-word and incel, of course, meaning that he blamed his social failures on being black. Given that the word is probably going to come up pretty frequently throughout his writings, I'll use the word black cell instead, just for the sake of getting around the word.
I'm sorry, I can't help but like laugh at that. Like the fact that he was literally calling himself that too. I'm a black cell. Like, oh my god.
In his diary, Solomon expressed that he wanted to kill at least 10 people himself, and hopefully earn his place among all of the other killers that he admired so much. In the first diary entry that Solomon wrote on October 18th, he opened up with a photo of Eric Harris, one of the shooters in the Columbine High School massacre, followed by a photo of Varg Graven Virkens, a Norwegian black metal artist famous for stabbing Euronymous, the guitarist of a band called Mayhem, and being arrested for his murder. He wrote, "I'm burning with hate. Hate will change the world. Race mixing is a sin against God. Only the ill mentally will praise me after my death, and the only good N-word is a dead N-word, which includes me."
Oh my god. The only good N-word is a dead one, including myself. Oh my god, stand up. These white people are not gonna pick you.
He often spoke of how much he hated his own race and how much he wished that he was white, clearly stating, "I wish I was white. Self-hating N-word award goes to..." He then went on to describe himself as, "I'm 5'8", short, unattractive, and an N-word. Fuck my life." Although Solomon seemed to be very fond of white people, he wasn't so keen on people of other races. Possibly due to his upbringing within the Black Hebrew Israelites, he developed a very strong hatred for Jews, who the Black Hebrew Israelites believed to be a fraud. On October 19th, he wrote, "I feel like I'm living my life on repeat, doing everything all over again. I don't want to be a Jewish slave to the system." It wasn't too long after this that Solomon began to allude to the fact that he was planning some sort of attack for the first time.
Like fucking clockwork. They all have this same skull mask. All of them. Is this like a uniform? Was there like a memo sent out? Like,
adding that he felt he was perfect for the job, stating, "I'm perfect for this. I have no faith in humanity." In regards as to why he wanted to commit the attack, the first comment he would make was, "Misanthropy and xenophobia is what fuels my heart," which is ironic coming from someone who is alien to his own people and everything around me. In one of his next entries, he celebrated Brenton Tarrant's birthday. This was the perpetrator in the Christchurch mosque shooting, which Solomon seemed to be quite a big fan of. In the entry, he included some artwork of Brenton as well as an audio clip personally wishing him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Brenton. Happy birthday, Brenton. Happy birthday.
bro is singing happy birthday to a white supremacist shooter. Hell no. He's singing happy birthday to a shooter that would have 100% shot him in the face, by the way.
Happy birthday, Brenton Tarrant. Happy birthday to you.
Like, 'cause he's black.
Happy birthday, Brenton Tarrant. Total weird kill all Muslims. Happy birthday, Brenton.
It's worth noting that it seems that Solomon even attended a mosque at least once, leading to speculation that he may have debated on carrying out an attack there himself. Solomon spent a good portion of his diary celebrating certain mass killers that he seemed to admire more than others. One of the killers mentioned the most was Dylan Storm Roof, a white supremacist mass murderer who perpetrated the Charleston church shooting. While Dylan is considered to be frankly odd-looking by most, Solomon said that he was cool and wished that he could take pictures like he did. He then called Dylan a saint. He also praised Patrick Wood Crusius, a man who shot up a Walmart in El Paso, Texas and killed 23 people.
He really idolized this guy, the guy who leaked his furry porn before he shot up a grocery store that had primarily black customers. This is the loser he wanted to idolize?
And like many killers have to this date, he then praised Elliot Rodger, saying that he, like Dylan, has style. He even talked about starting to wear a watch because Dylan and Elliot wore them, even though he felt that the style was somewhat feminine. On another page, he even clearly tries to take a selfie in the same vein as many of Elliot's, stating clearly that it's his intention. At some points, he would break from whatever else he was writing in the diary specifically to post more pictures of Elliot. When it came to being an incel, although he admitted to being one, he said that he never wanted that label because he didn't want people to feel that that was his motivation. He really didn't do much to hide the association, though, using incel terminology all throughout all of his writings, such as using looks maxing when he refers to working out and even referring to himself as...
See, that's what I'm saying. See, I mentioned looks maxing earlier. Like, this is just a message to y'all. If you ever meet somebody who unironically uses a bunch of looks maxing terminology, and they're not joking, like, they're being completely serious, run.
Using incel terminology all throughout all of his writings, such as using looks maxing when he refers to working out and even referring to himself as, well, black cell. He seemed to like Adam Lanza as well, the perpetrator in the Sandy Hook shooting. He posted a lot of photos of him along with various anime-inspired fan art of him that he found around the internet. Oddly, when it comes to Nicholas Cruz, he simply made fun of him for having man boobs. He also makes fun of Columbine, saying that their home videos and trench coats were cringe. He did admit that Columbine had style, though, and posted fan art of the killers. He even spoke of Randy Stair as well, saying that he found his videos hilarious, but this time he seems to mean it as a compliment.
Looks
After
like a
posting
fucking
a long
SCP.
list of quotes from different mass killers, he then spent a few pages showing their death photos. He then spent several more pages simply listing the names and birth dates of various mass killers without elaborating on his thoughts about them. More strangely, among all of his photos of killers was a picture of none other than the infamous lolcow Chris Chan as a child. While he might have found Chris's picture and believed it to be one of another killer, it's more likely that this picture was included as a joke. In addition to photos of killers, many pages of the diary were nothing but selfies of Solomon in different outfits and wearing gear with no text or explanation whatsoever, including blurry pictures of what seems to be Solomon showing off some games he was playing. A large chunk of the diary pages are what you could only describe as shitposts as well, such as when he praises a man in SpongeBob cosplay for supposedly carrying out an attack. At one point in the diary, he came to explain the incident in which his home was raided back in 2023, although he doesn't elaborate much, only writing, "I had my house raided once, they found a gun, it was mine, lol. My dad took the blame. My dad, he's cool. I hate my mother though." In November, Solomon began to consider when and where at his school he might try to carry out an attack. On the 8th, he wrote, "It's 11:12 on a Friday during lunchtime and it has a lot of people. But Thursday is the switch day. Has a huge density of people, most being BIPOCs, which is Black, Indigenous, People of Color, than usual weekdays. Graduation makes more sense to attack, though. I want to do a stabbing like Tobbs, but at huge risk of being caught and receiving a low high score."
God, it's so cringe how they refer to killing people as like scores. I want to get a good high score. They want to get the most kills that they can.
In this context, score is what people in his circle call the kill counts that each of these killers ended up with. Then he abruptly changed the topic to anime, writing, "I've been watching and reading the web novel of ReZero. It's so good, too bad I won't see the full animated series in this form as I am right now." In the diary, he began to write out his plans to build bombs in great detail. He spent several pages entirely listing how to make bombs, which I can't show for obvious reasons. On December 12th, he posted that he had purchased some nails and tacks as shrapnel. It was only a few days later on the 16th that the diary took somewhat of a depressing turn. He wrote, "When I think about what I'm going to do, I get sad seeing and reading kids/adults before who did similar attacks. The loneliness, the fact that we had no other choice, no help, just nothing."
It's always this part where I get triggered when they start saying the fact that we had no other choice. Nobody forced you to do this, bro. Nobody forced you to do this. Just take ownership. You wanted to kill people just cuz, bro. You wanted upvotes from your degenerate friends on 4chan.
I have no mother, I have no father, I have no sister, I have no brother. I was born alone and will leave this world alone. While it seems that Solomon and Samantha Ruppnow didn't communicate directly online aside from commenting and sharing posts, it has been said that they were both within the same network of troubled teens that tended to glorify mass murder online. In 2024, before she died, Samantha even shared a post by Solomon. In that post, he wished a happy Veterans Day to Charles Joseph Whitman, the perpetrator of the University of Texas Tower shooting in 1966. In December of 2024, Samantha committed her attack on the Abundant Life Christian School. Solomon, seemingly feeling starstruck by having been followed by her, quickly developed quite a fascination with her. Someone commented on one of his posts on X, saying that one of his buddies seems to have shot up a school. Solomon replied, "I barely knew her," saying that he never actually exchanged DMs with her.
Translation, he simped for her. That's it. Once this guy noticed that Samantha Rupnow, the other shooter, followed him, bro was simping, bro. He was simping.
Someone commented on one of his posts on X, saying that one of his buddies seems to have shot up a school. Solomon replied, "I barely knew her," saying that he never actually exchanged DMs with her, but he began to change his tone as his fixation on her grew. On December 16th, he noticed that Samantha had followed him on Twitter. He wrote, "Holy shit, the newest school shooter followed me on my private and public Twitter, I think." He then began to post a lot of photos of Samantha along with some fan art he found online of her.
There you go. He became obsessed with her.
He confirmed in a diary entry that he had indeed been the one to tell her to livestream the attack, saying that her boyfriend unfollowed him for it. He compares her to other female shooters, saying that she mogs them all, meaning she's so much hotter than them that she makes them look ugly in comparison.
And there you go with the looks maxing terminology. Like I'm saying, she mogs them. She mogs the other shooters.
Solomon began to brag online that he and Samantha were mutuals, writing things like, "I used to be mutuals with someone who is now a real school shooter." He began to refer to Samantha as a saintress, terminology that she would have been very familiar with when it comes to glorifying mass killers. He reposted and shared many posts that she had made in the past. In fact, he even began to start using a photo of her as his profile icon on Discord. He even began to scratch her name into various pieces of gear and weaponry that he had gotten his hands on.
Hell no.
Joking of Samantha's influences, Solomon even posted on X, "There should be a betting market for which right-wing Twitter figure will radicalize the next shooter." It's likely hoping that he might be this figure for someone else. After all of this, a user on X became suspicious of Solomon's activity, even sharing his post to the FBI, saying, "He needs to be locked up, no questions asked." The FBI either didn't see this share or just didn't really look into it. Back in the diary, Solomon began to contemplate killing his parents, but mainly his mother, writing, "I should just go with my gun and shoot her while she sleeps in her bed before 0 day. Maybe I should set up bombs near JFK Middle School and elementary school near my house as a diversion, to delay the police." It's worth noting that 0 Day is the name of a very popular dramatized documentary of Columbine, and the Columbine killers also placed bombs in various areas as a diversion. However, Solomon later changed his mind on this, writing, "I don't think I can kill my family." By December 28th, Solomon was imitating Samantha in full swing, not only writing in his diary but also writing a manifesto as well. He spoke of seeing her in a dream, writing, "Working on manifesto and writings. I had a dream, and in it I got feted and they wanted to check my phone and found gore. The reason for the visit was Saintess Rupnow."
What? Remember, guys, all she did was follow him. They never even DM'd her anything. And now bro is etching her name into things, into guns, and he's dreaming about her, calling her Saintress Rupnow. Oh my god.
The reason for the visit was Saintess Rupnow. On December 29th, he finally explained his motivations in a bit of detail for the first time, stating, 12 years of my life waste in an institution that taught nothing but how much I fucking hate people being forced to work with a groups of mongrel who can't speak English and then take credit for my work. Fuck the parents that place their children in these slave systems. It's retribution to commit this attack for all this shit. My parents didn't help me at all. If I did my online school, I could have graduated early, but no, you didn't want to help. Never helped me do anything." Shortly after, Solomon wrote that he had gotten into a fight with his mom, showcasing a small cut on his arm. He said that his father was having a heart attack at the same time, saying that he might have died before ending the sentence with a lull. He then showed a photo of the EMTs in his home. It wasn't too long after that he began to show his gun for the first time in his diary. He posed with the gun, saying that it was all almost over and that he was looking forward to hooking up with Samantha in the afterlife. A diary entry on January 1st showed that, by this time, he was debating on whether he should commit the attack while he was still 17 or wait until he was 18 so that he could, in his words, get better equipment like GoPro and better guns. It seems that the debate didn't last long, with another entry one day later stating, "Everything is faster approaching. It's weird knowing that I may or may not be dying this year. Honestly, I'm either going to kick out my house or die like my parents due to bad health. I just can't. Every moment I go to that school, I feel shooting it up." The next day, he elaborated further, writing, "I can't do this anymore though. I'm slipping. I can't keep walking through the same days and the same rooms. I can't keep taking the same drugs and having the same dreams. I can't keep hating the same people. I can't smile at the same faces. I'm so tired. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep waking up in the same house. I can't keep trying the same things to trick myself into wanting this. I can't keep trying to want this. I can't keep trying to want to live. I've never wanted to live."
Here's my suggestion. Kill yourself. No, but for real though, like you should have just done that shit. Just end yourself, bro. Goddamn. You don't gotta kill other people.
"I can't keep trying the same things to trick myself into wanting this. I can't keep trying to want this. I can't keep trying to want to live. I've never wanted to live. I never will. I can't keep coming on here and whining." He posted that he had been banned on X twice
He
now,
was so
seemingly
close.
with both bans for glorifying murder. He lamented that he had planned to use those accounts to advertise his attack. Then, finally, on January 16th, there was this entry. The shooting will happen next Thursday. This is a complete failure and not the original plan I had. Due my incompetent, the law, and family issues. He added that he is planning to livestream the attack, noting previous attempts by other killers in the past. On January 21st, Solomon attached another selfie, this time of himself in his junior ROTC uniform. He wrote, "Tomorrow is the day. I was planning on Thursday, but I need to speed things up. I don't have a lot of time. Holy shit, I'm nervous, scared, and excited at the same time. Scared of failing to kill myself, then going to jail. My goal is to kill at least 10 people to beat the Troon elementary school shooter." The shooter that he was describing was the Nashville shooter, seemingly wanting to kill 10 people simply to end up with a higher kill count than what was most likely the most famous Nashville shooting to date.
Oh, yeah, we made a video on this. And then also he called her the trans people slur. Yeah, the trans slur.
The shooter that he was describing was the Nashville shooter, seemingly wanting to kill 10 people simply to end up with a higher kill count than what was most likely the most famous Nashville shooting to date. The last thing ever posted to the diary was the text, "Finally face pic. God, I am ugly. 4 hours to go. There's a bunch of middle and elementary kids." The manifesto that Solomon produced is a very rough read, to say the least. The vast majority of the writing is nothing but an endless spew of memes, buzzwords, and profanity. He's clearly writing the manifesto in the most offensive and inflammatory way possible in order to bait a reaction from both people online and within the media.
There's a slur for trans people? Yeah. I'm not gonna say it, but like, it does exist, yeah.
So much of it is contradictory, hyperbolic, and obviously intended to both offend people and mislead the media that basically none of it can be taken seriously. He spends the majority of the time incoherently complaining about all what he calls non-Aryan races. With his self-hatred, he complains about black people and black culture the most throughout by far. The majority of the pages can't even be shown because they would basically end up being half blurred out anyway. Even the memes contain swastikas, gore, and nudity. Some of the few coherent writings include, "I'm ashamed to be black. I feel like shit being an N-word. It seems I can never hear black people doing anything positive anymore. N-words have to ruin shit. N-words have to do what N-words do best." He says that black people hate him, brown people hate him, women hate him, the r/pol community, the politics subsection of 4chan hates him, and that it makes him want to cry.
Bro said, 4chan hates me. I'm gonna cry. 4chan hates me.
He laments that he basically feels his own culture is holding him back. He then has a page dedicated to his hatred of Jews and his views on circumcision. When it comes to his opinions on Islam, he simply posted a picture from the Christchurch mosque shooting. Christianity he doesn't seem to hate, but he says that Christians are too passive for his liking. He spends another page saying that violence is necessary to uphold the law, ending a long rant with, "In conclusion, it is my belief that in order for the total societal failure of the West, it is imperative to teach violence to people again. Teach them how to do it, when to do it, why they should do it." He then has a page telling the reader how important it is to look your best before becoming a criminal, saying that looks maxing is key to outreach.
Oh my god, see? That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, looks maxing is very deeply entrenched, and it actually originated from, like, these degenerate 4chan groups.
While this is clearly a shitpost in its own right, Solomon has shown that he was both very self-conscious of his looks and spent a lot of time working out in the past. Several of the next pages were dedicating to dieting and losing weight. Eventually, after many pages of Wojak memes, he came to a Q&A section, anticipating questions that people may have about him. He wrote that he is not a Nazi, saying that anyone who claims to be one is merely role-playing. He said that he was going to do this for the enjoyment. He added that he can't remember being bullied once in his life, so bullying isn't a factor. He did say that he hates school because it's, in his mind, only a daycare that stifles your ability to think. When speaking of life, he challenges phrases like, "it just gets better with time," saying that transitioning into a career and dying in a retirement home doesn't sound much better to him than where he is now. Despite being in the ROTC, when it comes to joining the army, he wrote, "No honest person would fight for more mass immigration, higher taxes, and living expenses." When asked why he chose a school, he said that it's an act against Zionism, stating that schools perpetuate the idea of the Holocaust, which he says is a lie.
Oh my, every bad thing is Israel. Trust me, I'm not defending Israel at all. They need to be stopped, honestly. We need to stop, like, funding for them. But, like, I also equally hate the people that tie everything to Israel. Everything bad to it. Like, everything disconnected. Like, the reason I'm gonna shoot up this school is because schools talk about Israel, and Israel is a lie, and blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, like, okay, whoa. Okay, we're losing the plot here. We're losing the plot. What the fuck are we doing here?
Finally, he said that anyone will be a target, and that he doesn't feel bad for targeting children because they're going to be adults someday anyway. The last thing he does is try to take down a bunch of celebrities and media franchises with him, saying that they were what radicalized him. He wrote, "Is there a particular groups or people that radicalized you the most? Candace Owens, Ethan Ralph, Nick Fuentes, Turkey Tom, Ruben Sim, Mr. Beast, Cobbs and Talks, Wayne Lambright, iDubbbz, Destiny, Hassan Piker.
What? Holy shit. Oh, of course you have Nick Fuentes. Turkey Tom? Wait, Turkey Tom's out here radicalizing people? Mr. Beast? Wait, what? Who is iDubbbz radicalizing? Oh, well, back in his early days, he was really edgy.
It's easy to see that most of the figures on this list are from completely opposite sides of the political spectrum, with some of them, like Mr. Beast, seemingly having nothing to do with politics or radicalization in the slightest, meaning that Solomon was likely only trying to attach his name to as many controversial personalities as possible while trolling their communities along the way.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I agree with Dire Trip there. Because if you notice, a lot of these names, they contradict each other a lot. Like, for example, like Hassan Piker and Destiny, those two are like opposites. Like, they're completely opposite beliefs. So the fact that he referenced both of them, it doesn't make sense for like both of them to have radicalized him. I think he just name dropped a bunch of people in order to stir up fights. Like, oh look, see, like, you radicalize people. Like, no, you radicalize people. No, you radicalize. Like, I think he was just trying to cause chaos.
Meaning that Solomon was likely only trying to attach his name to as many controversial personalities as possible while trolling their communities along the way. He wrote, "To expand on this, Candace Owens has influenced me above all each time she spoke. I was stunned by her insights, and her own views helped push me further and further into the belief of violence over the Jewish question, along with Turkey Tom and Ruben Sim pushing me to the alt-right pipeline." He then proceeded to try to throw violent media under the bus, writing, "We're taught violence and extremism by video games, music, literature, or cinema. Yes, following music called incelcore/shootercore taught me kill. Kanye West and playing games like CSGO, Manhunt, Cry Out of Fear, Postal, Doom, Skylanders, Mega Chud, TNO, HOI 4, Murayama Middle School Shooter have mentally prepared me for murder."
Mega Chud. What the fuck?
Again, this one is clearly only a troll, with games
What the fuck? Wait, it's real? This is a real fucking game? Mega Chud. Oh my god. They made 4chan a game.
Again, this one is clearly only a troll, with games like Skylanders and E-rated game geared mainly towards children being thrown in. Given that Solomon admits to Fed posting within the manifesto itself, meaning that he makes posts specifically to get the Fed's attention on certain people and topics, this is all pretty transparent.
Yeah, Fed
The rest of the
posting.
manifesto merely deteriorates into a bunch of racial jokes, trolling, and memes. At the very end, he finally thanks his online friends without going into much detail. The manifesto finally concludes with, "I take great pride in the fact that people before me and after me will commit similar acts. Not only in the USA, but all over the world." This brings us to January 22nd, 2025. While Antioch High School had security cameras with weapon detection AI, school resource officers, and security kiosks, they weren't quite as prepared for an attack as they thought. At some point in the morning, Solomon shared his documents online, including his manifesto, his diary, and a few books that he said inspired him. Like any other day, he hopped into the passenger seat of his mother's car as she drove him to school. Little did his mother know, this time Solomon was carrying a gun in his backpack.
That's crazy. Imagine being the parent dropping off your kid. You didn't know you were dropping off your kid to commit a shooting. Like, your kid in the back has ammunition that he's taking into the school to commit mass murder.
9mm Taurus G2C semi-automatic pistol. He behaved very normally at school until around lunchtime. Much like his idol, Samantha Ruppnow, he went into the bathroom just before 11 a.m. to gather himself and prepare his weapon, which he has speculated to have hidden in the bathroom earlier on in the day.
Oh, dude, yeah, he literally copied Samantha. He took the same exact picture in the restroom of just like his shoes and legs.
He put the gun into his backpack and headed off towards the cafeteria. It was now shortly after 11 a.m. Solomon pulled out his phone and opened up the Kick app. Here, just like he planned, he started up a live stream so that he could show his attack. Most of the live stream was incoherent, cutting in and out. The majority of the video only showed his legs and the floor of the hallway as he walked towards the cafeteria. Solomon entered into the cafeteria and made his way into the lunch line. At 11:09 a.m., he felt it was time to start his attack. 2 school resource officers were in the building at the time, but neither of them were anywhere near the cafeteria. With his backpack hanging off of his arm, he quickly pulled out his gun and began to fire rapidly without saying a word. The first student that he aimed the gun towards was a 16-year-old student named Jocelyn Correa Escalante. He killed her right then and there before trying to fire at other students. Luckily, no other students were killed. One was grazed by a bullet, and another suffered an injury to their face after falling while trying to escape.
Damn.
While we can't know what Solomon was thinking, it seems he realized everything was over. He turned the gun over on himself and ended it. Shortly after, the police arrived.
Oh, wait, so how many people did he kill total? Like 2? So he killed that girl, rest in peace, by the way.
One was grazed by a bullet, and another suffered an injury to their face after falling while trying to escape. While we
Only
can't know
one.
what Solomon was thinking, it seems he realized everything was over. He turned the gun over on himself and ended it. Shortly after, the police arrived. After Solomon died, his phone fell to the floor, camera facing down, causing the screen to stay black for quite some time while the police tried to get a handle on the situation. In the stream, they could be heard yelling at other students to stop recording with their phones as the chaos continued in the background. For the next several minutes, the live stream was nothing but police chatter, screams, and both students and teachers trying to explain what they saw. In the end, the police finally found Solomon's phone and picked it up.
Yeah, exactly, chatter. Somebody said in chat, so he died as a failure in his eyes. He said he didn't want to get a low high score by killing under 10 people, and fortunately, only one life was lost. But you know what? I shouldn't even say fortunately. Any loss of life, even if it's just one, is way too much. This shit should have never happened at all. So yeah, rest in peace once again to Jocelyn. I believe that was her name. Rest in peace to Jocelyn.
Shown on the stream briefly before they cut the video. Solomon had fired 10 shots in total during the shooting, all being fired within 17 seconds. The gun still had 9 rounds left inside when it was taken. Near his body, another magazine was found with only 7 rounds inside. After the SWAT team swept the school, they realized that Solomon was the only shooter and that everything was indeed all over. Saying that there was no longer a threat, the 2 injured students were taken out of the building and to the hospital. Jocelyn, however, was clearly dead at the scene of the crime. At first, the police couldn't say what the motive was for the shooting or if the victims were targeted specifically. At first, they thought that Jocelyn may have been a specific target and that the other 2 injured students were merely caught in the crossfire. However, it wasn't long at all before the police discovered Solomon's writings online, giving them a much more clear explanation as to what Solomon had intended to do. They also found Solomon's connections to Samantha Rupnow, concerning them even further. The authorities had already known that Samantha had been involved with like-minded individuals online before her attack, and this proved their concerns over more violence occurring as a result were completely valid. They found that Solomon's gun had been purchased legally in Arizona back in 2022, never having been reported stolen. They weren't sure, however, if it belonged to him, his parents, or someone else. The parents of the students in the school were told not to come out to the school itself, but instead to go to a local hospital in order to pick up their kids. The students were led out of the school and filed into buses in order to get there. Meanwhile, ambulances took the 2 injured students to the hospital directly. A large crowd formed outside of the hospital, with a lot of confused and panicked high schoolers waiting to meet back up with their parents. The recorded live stream of the shooting was removed off of Kik very quickly, with Solomon's account being banned automatically. Kik made a statement confirming that they had removed the video, saying, "Violence has no place on Kik. We are actively working with law enforcement and taking all appropriate steps to support their investigation." Some of Solomon's associates online publicly identified him as the shooter before the police even confirmed his identity. With other students from the school identifying him as well, even showing his photo, this was the first time anyone would ever see Solomon or hear of his beliefs. His diary was found and posted online by independent researchers and crime enthusiasts. It was posted online in an editable form that was quickly vandalized by pictures of, well, Nikocado Avocado's nude anus.
What the fuck? What? Random Nikocado avocado jump scare and it's of his ass? Ew, you can see it. His ass is so massive, it's peeking out of the sensor and it's hairy. What the hell?
In an editable form that was quickly vandalized by pictures of, well, Nikocado Avocado's nude anus. However, luckily many others had saved the original file before all of that chaos. Shortly after the attack took place, Solomon's home was raided by the police. Many photos and videos were taken of the police presence at the home. They came to remove several boxes from the house, all containing potential evidence as they tried to figure out what had led up to the attack. While the police didn't say much about what the boxes contained, they did confirm that they didn't find any firearms or firearm parts during the search. Both of the injured students, the one grazed by the bullet and the one who injured their face after falling, were treated and released from the hospital shortly after the attack. The night of the shooting, a church in Antioch called the United Family Fellowship held a vigil for anyone in the community who needed to process what had happened. Antioch, seemingly more unfazed by this than you would think, decided to resume holding classes less than a week after the shooting took place. You might remember the incident where Solomon threatened the other student with a box cutter. The uncle of the threatened student posted about the shooting on social media shortly after, angered that the school had seemingly done nothing to monitor Solomon after he had already threatened violence. He said, "I blame you, Metro Nashville Public Schools. Y'all failed that kid."
A 100% valid criticism. How do you let a kid off like that without extra monitoring after Solomon had already threatened another kid with box cutters earlier in the school year? How was there no preventative measures taken after that? Yeah.
Adrian Battle, the city's director of schools, said, "I know there are questions about whether additional steps such as stationary metal detectors should be considered. While past research has shown that they have had limitations and unintended consequences, we will continue exploring emerging technologies and strategies to strengthen school safety." Another school district official explained why their AI cameras had failed in detecting the gun, saying, "In this instance, based on the shooter's location and proximity to the cameras, it wasn't close enough to get an accurate read and to activate the alarm. The system was activated by police when they brandished their weapons. There's no foolproof solutions for any of this, but this is one extra step." When it comes to the potential groups that Solomon was a part of online, very little concrete information is actually known. Given how much he liked to troll and claim influence from celebrities and different media, it's very hard to go on his word alone. Even if he seemed to be telling the truth, his word was nothing less than contradictory and nonsensical the majority of the time. However, the authorities do believe that the connections between Solomon and various loose organizations of other violent individuals online were substantial. Violence prevention researchers stated, This network is best described as an online subculture that celebrates violent attacks and radicalizes young people into committing violence. Many of the individuals involved in this network are minors, and we'd like to see intervention to give them the help and support that they need for their own safety as well as those around them.
Yeah, it is troubling that a lot of these people, they start as minors. Yeah, like they're minors going into these rabbit holes, 4chan, and these like really weird, racist, neo-Nazi communities. It's a parenting issue. I'm gonna be honest, I think a lot of it does come down to parenting. Something that all of these kids have in common is very troubling households, very broken households. I mean, we saw that this kid had parents that were always fighting, and if they're always fighting, you can only assume that they weren't really paying attention to his needs as a child. So you can assume that he was very isolated. He was always in his room. He was developing hatred in his heart. And where's that hatred gonna lead you when you're by yourself? It's gonna lead you down these communities online that fuel your hatred even more. So I really do think it all starts in the household a lot of the time. Yeah.
This network is best described as an online subculture that celebrates violent attacks and radicalizes young people into committing violence. Many of the individuals involved in this network are minors, and we'd like to see intervention to give them the help and support that they need for their own safety as well as those around them. One of the groups that they are most likely referring to is one that Samantha was believed to have been connected to in some capacity, a group called 764. This is a group that, online, coerces kids into committing violent acts, but also encourages them to send explicit material and harm themselves on camera for other adult members to watch. Before the shooting, Solomon posted a voice message on Discord saying that he was doing it for the group.
Attacking my school for 764 and MKY. 764.
However, it is doubted by many that Solomon was actually a member of the COM at all. It's more heavily speculated that he was merely on the peripheral, connected only a few steps away, following people who were loosely connected to the group without engaging himself. It seemed that he was at least aware of the group's existence and of their terminology, but there isn't as much evidence to support that he was ever in contact with any of them directly. Another organization that researchers suspect Solomon of being related to is one called Terragram. Terragram has been labeled as a terrorist organization by the US State Department, saying that the group, quote, promotes violent white supremacism, solicits attacks on perceived adversaries, and provides guidance and instructional materials on tactics, methods, and targets for attacks, including on critical infrastructure and government officials.
Somebody in chat pointed it out, and thank you for pointing it out. 764 is associated with 09A, a satanic Nazi cult. But yeah, basically what this chat is saying is 764 is a worldwide internet network of people that promote terrorism, that promote acts of violence among minors, and they encourage them to stream it, etc., etc.
The FBI was asked to comment on the tip that they had received about Solomon over X, the one in which a user shared his post celebrating Samantha Rupnow and said that he was clearly a danger and needed to be locked up. The FBI simply declined to comment. This led to a lot of blowback online, with many users saying that internet users can clearly pick out potential mass shooters while the FBI cannot. Now, the biggest question on everyone's mind is, where and when will this happen next? Once again, thank you for watching my video.
And that's the sad part. I mean, the video's over, and by the way, shout out to Dire Trip, but that's the sad part. He just said right now, or he just asked the question, when and where is going to be the next attack, the next shooting? The reason why that's sad is because it makes sense to ask that question. That question is very valid. It's unfortunate that those kinds of questions are normal in today's life, because we're all expecting another shooting one of these days. I mean, yeah, there's a reason why Americans really just aren't shocked anymore, why a lot of people consider themselves numb to whenever they hear another school shooting occurred somewhere on the news, on TV. Yeah, it's the very bleak reality in America today. I wish it was different. Once again, I do believe that stricter gun laws would help alleviate some of this, but also, and this is a really complex issue to tackle, but it's the issue of mental health. It's the issue of broken households, because how do you target that as a society? How can you even implement laws that would fix that? How do you even begin to tackle that? I don't think you can even solve that with legislation. I think it's a cultural thing, and America just has this very strong individual culture, like individualistic culture, where you're looking out for yourself and for yourself only. There's not like a strong sense of community these days. Yeah, I think I'm spitting right now. I think it's just like a lot of people feel a lack of community, which then leads to a lack of purpose, and then people begin to form these nihilistic personalities, these nihilistic ideas, which is what then leads them to developing pointless, aimless hatred at things. So they look for random things to hate. Like this kid hated Jewish people, he hated himself, he hated black people. So yeah, it's just like a very complex issue that I think is a cultural one that needs to be addressed as a society. Like it takes a movement. It takes multiple people, a group of people, an organization spreading a message that is going to take time to reach all corners of the country, all corners of society. It's going to be a slow process. This is not going to be a night and day thing. Yes, rest in peace to Jocelyn, the victim that he killed. Yeah, what a pathetic boy that was, man. He grew up to hate himself, to hate black people, even though he himself was black, begging for the validation of white people, of white supremacists that were never going to pick him, a black white supremacist. It's just crazy. Love yourself. That's my message, man. That's my message. Don't belittle yourself. Don't think that you're not good enough and that you start going down disgusting rabbit holes like this. Okay, that's all. Thank you for watching YouTube, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next video. Peace out.